Now on to the football field. Ohio State moves up to #1 in the nation in the only college football poll that matters, the playoff rankings. With the win over Penn State, Buckeyes move past LSU for the top spot. Clemson stays at 3 and Georgia 4th. Elsewhere in the Big Ten, Minnesota is 8th, Wisconsin 12th, and the Buckeyes' next opponent, Michigan, checks in at 13. Mark Kuntz has more on the game and the rivalry.
Ohio State head coaches Jim Tressel and Urban Meyer were both born in Ohio. Both talked at length about how the rivalry in the game was in their blood. Well, that's not necessarily the case for Ryan Day from New Hampshire. Yet he understands the rivalry, and with more and more Buckeye players coming in from outside of the great state of Ohio, selling the rivalry is part of selling the program.
You know, for the first, 6 months, my son and I, when we came in the building together, we'd sit there in the front atrium and we'd watch that video of the season before, and just as you get here, you start to live it every day and you understand it. And Coach Meyer certainly talked about it all the time and learned that way, and then being in the game twice, and the respect that I have for the rivalry is off the charts. It's just one of the reasons and makes it so special to be at Ohio State.
And I don't think it takes long for somebody to realize how big this game is. He being the head coach, I mean, it's obviously he knows what's about to come up. Personally, I didn't really know much about the rivalry either, being a kid from Indiana. But once you get here and you're here long enough, and he's been here obviously long enough, he really knows what this rivalry is all about.
One staple of Urban Meyer's regime, outside of always beating Michigan, he would always blare LL Cool J's "It's Time for War" song throughout the Woody Hayes Athletic Center leading up to the game. Well, we didn't hear it today, but that doesn't mean the players haven't heard it.
I think that's a coach question, but I've heard it a couple times. Yeah.
Yeah, everything's been the same since I've been here, so that's been passed down from Coach Meyer to Coach Day, and as you can see throughout the facility, you see all the signs and everything, so that's one indication. And then we train for it all year long. I think everything gets ramped up this week, just as intensity. I practice on Sunday, and then obviously throughout the week it'll be the same way. Just everything gets ramped up, intensity, and just get his players ready to go.
I think he understood that how much I appreciated what he did to build this rivalry up in his 7 years here and what his record was, and to think that he's 7-0 is just completely overwhelming sometimes. But all you do is you just put one foot in front of the other and you just keep working, and that's all we've done. That's all our coaching staff has done. That's what I've done, and we're going to do the same thing this week.
And as our colleague from the Blade, Kyle Rowland, pointed out, if Ohio State beats Michigan on Saturday, that means the Buckeyes will overtake the Wolverines for the all-time winningest program in college football history in terms of winning percentage, adding just a little more fuel to the fire. In Columbus, Mark Kuntz, BCSN.